So these are the 5 simple steps on how to do TRE, trauma reducing exercise. Number 1, lay on the ground in a resting position for 1 minute. Resting position is thighs open, knees bent, soles of feet touching, and the feet fairly close to the buttocks. Step 2, raise the pelvis off to the table. Raise the pelvis off the ground for 1 minute. So this is similar to the yoga position, and I'm going to demonstrate that. So step 2 is raise the pelvis off the ground for 1 minute. Step 3 is actually step 2, hold that position for a minute. Raise the pelvis off the ground, hold it for a minute. And then step 3 is go back to the first step, which is the resting position. Go back to that position for 1 minute. So that's 3 minutes. Now, step 4 is bring the knees about 1.5 inches closer together and hold this position for 90 seconds. So step 4 means you're going to start with the knees out at the resting position and then lift them up, bring them toward each other, only about 1.5 inches toward each other, and then hold that position for 90 seconds. Then the next step is still on step 4. Then bring knees another 1.5 inches closer and hold that for 90 seconds. And then repeat it a third time. So you're going to repeat step 4 3 times. And that step is to bring the knees toward each other only 1.5 inches at a time. So start at the resting position. For step 4, start at the resting position, knees close to the ground, and then move them 1.5 inches toward each other, hold for 90 seconds, then bring them in another 1.5 inches toward each other, hold for 90 seconds, and then again bring them in toward each other 1.5 inches, and then hold that for 90 seconds. So that's 1.5 times 3, 1.5 minutes times 3. That would be 4.5 minutes, plus the first 3 steps are 3 minutes, so we are at 7.5 minutes. And then step 5 is then put your feet flat on the floor and start your timer. And you can slowly move the knees closer together or further apart until you find the sweet spot. The sweet spot is a position where the most tremoring is happening. So pretty simple steps. Once you do them, once you see them done, you'll see that they are pretty simple. So again, quick review. Step 1 is lay on the ground in the resting position for 1 minute, thighs open, knees bent, soles of the feet touching, and the feet fairly close to the buttocks. Step 2, raise the pelvis off the floor and then hold that for a minute. Step 3, go back to the resting position, the first position, and stay there for 1 minute. And then step 4 is bring the knees about 1.5 inches closer toward each other, hold that for 90 seconds. Then again bring them toward each other 1.5 inches, hold that for 90 seconds, and a third time, same thing, bring them 1.5 inches toward each other and hold for 90 seconds. And then step 5 is now put the feet flat on the floor and start your timer. And you can slowly move the knees closer together or further apart until you find the sweet spot. The sweet spot is the position where the most tremoring is happening. So I won't do this exercise to the minute. I'm just going to go through the steps kind of relatively quickly, so that you can get an idea on how to do this. So let me show you that step. 1 second. Okay. So 5 simple steps on how to do this exercise. And you will see many videos, possibly hundreds of videos on YouTube where you will see people doing this. So I just want to make sure that you have the 5 steps written somewhere or easy to refer to. So here's the first position, the resting position. So I'm lying down on the ground and knees are out, feet are touching, heels are fairly close to the buttocks. So hold this position for 1 minute. I'm just automatically taking a few deep breaths and relaxing, feeling a sense of relief. So hold this position for 1 minute, and then second step is raise the pelvis up. So this is something like a yoga position. They call it bridge. So hold this position for a minute. And personally I think you can do variations of this. So my doctor said that this exercise is not about pushing your way through or forcing your way through. So basically, if this position is difficult, just try to do it as close as possible, and I think you'll still be able to get to the next steps. So I can already feel my body shaking a little bit. In yoga, they tell you that shakes are good, but back to TRE. Hold this position for 1 minute, and then step 2. That's step 2. Step 3 is go back to step 1, which is the resting position. Rest there for 1 minute, and then bring the knees toward each other, 1.5 inches. Hold that for 90 seconds. After the 90 seconds, again, bring the knees together, another 1.5 inches. Hold for 90 seconds. Then again, a third time, bring the knees toward each other, another 1.5 inches. Hold for 90 seconds. And I'm already feeling the tremors. So after you've done that 90 second, put your feet flat on the ground. This is step 5. And I'm going to bring my knees toward each other slowly. And I'm going to find that sweet spot where I start getting those tremors. And step 5 is where you start the timer. So my doctor told me to do this 3 times a week. And so starting the timer now, he said to do it for 7 minutes. So you could, what he said is, you could be getting the shakes just a little bit, or you could be getting the shakes, your body could be shaking a lot. And if you watch some of these other videos on YouTube, like with Dr. David Berceli, sometimes in some of those videos you will see that the person, their body is shaking a lot. They have a lot of tremors. And sometimes it's bringing up emotions. So if emotions come up and if you need help with them, make sure you get help from a counselor or a good friend who you trust. So anyway, this is the TRE, trauma reducing exercise. It is to reduce stress and trauma. And the trauma could be a childhood trauma, or it could be even an accident, like a car accident. The body goes into trauma. So when the trauma happens, the person goes into a fight or flight mode, and then can get frozen in that fight or flight mode. And this exercise, I hope and I wish for you that it will get you out of that, and you will have breakthroughs and a healthy life, healthy mind, spirit, emotions, healthy body. And so I would say, keep doing this for a few weeks. It might take a few weeks to see results. I noticed within a couple of times, I noticed that my sleep was getting deeper. And so make sure you share this knowledge with other people, pass it forward. You don't have to forward this video, just forward them some video about TRE so that they can help themselves and get healthier and get some healing. Thank you for watching, and I wish you good health. And always when you get up, it's best to turn to the side, push yourself up. They also teach you this in yoga. You might want to go to sleep or rest for a while after this exercise. Don't go into some hard activity right away. Go into it Go from this very restful place to very active place very gradually.